Hi, welcome to the Online Jewelry Academy. I'm Professor John Ahr and I'm your instructor. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to make these little teeny ball end rivets. Now, these extend through a piece and they have a little ball, or they could have a flat portion, but they go through the piece and they're visible on both sides of the piece. Now, in a previous video, I taught you how to make a similar type of pendant, which is a hollow form pendant that could actually carry a flower or something. And in another video, I also taught you how to create this type of finish on copper. This is called heat staining. So in this video, we're going to learn how to make each of these little types of elements. Now, all of them began as part of a piece of wire. Now, this wire that I'm using is a 20 gauge round sterling silver wire. But let's stop for a second right there. Sterling silver really isn't the best choice for making these. The best choice is fine silver. The reason is that silver as a material has a material memory. And when it flows or becomes molten, when it's in its elemental form, meaning when it's fine silver and very pure, it wants to create a perfect little sphere. When it's alloyed with copper, as it is in sterling, that ball may not be so perfect and it may affect your results. So you may want to reach out to your supplier and get some fine silver if you want to create these. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically melt the end of the wire and clip it off to create blanks like these here. Now, these blanks can be as long or as short as you need them to be. You're going to need to do a little bit of experimentation to determine what length you need to create the size of sphere or little ball end that you need. Now, here's a little test that I've made. I've drilled holes that are the same size as the gauge of the wire in this piece of copper, and I took blanks like the ones I have here on the paper and pushed them through, and you can see here that on the back side, I hammered them flat to begin with. This isn't a necessary step, but if you like, you could do this just to create more interest between front and back of your piece, or to alternate them around the perimeter. Once they were through, and I'll push one through so you can see it, I clipped them to the height that I needed. And then I just took my torch and melted it down to the metal surface. Now, I want to point something out right now. If you notice right here, the ball comes all the way down to the metal surface, but I'm using a copper base with a silver wire. And because I'm taking that silver wire to its melting temperature, I do run the risk of a little bit of it maybe alloying or flowing onto this copper surface, creating that little bit of silver blush. So I would recommend that you consider that this is a possibility before you begin working, and you may want to make the choice to work with silver wire with a silver object. That way you won't run into any surprises. Okay, let me show you how to do it. It's really, really easy. What you're going to need is a torch, a vessel with water to quench in. You're also going to need a pair of wire cutters, a draw plate, and a flat-faced hammer. These last two items you only need if you want to flatten the surface of the balls. And in addition to them, you're also going to need a vise that you leave a little bit open. Okay, and don't let me forget, eye protection. Always want to protect yourself whenever you're working with an open flame. All right, so let me show you how it's done. I'm going to take this length of wire and I'm just going to straighten it out, and I'm going to hand hold it. So the wire is basically long enough that I'm not going to burn my hand when I apply heat to the end. And I do want to do this with the wire facing as straight down or plumb to the center of the earth as I possibly can. Okay, so let me light the torch. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to apply heat to this end, and I just want that silver to start to crawl up. There it goes. Now, I quench these as soon as I'm done balling them, just so that I don't burn myself. Now, you can pickle them to remove oxidation if you like, but I'm just going to give it a clip, and then I'll show you how to square it off or flatten it out if you want to. So taking my draw plate, what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert the wire into a hole in the draw plate that's equivalent to the diameter of the wire itself. So that one works right there. And you can see how the wire is going to stick through a little bit. That's why we're going to work with an open vise, so that I can dangle the length of wire through the vise, and then I can take a hammer, and this is a melted ball, or I just melted the silver to create it, so it's perfectly annealed. So it's really easy to just go, and I've got a nice flat ball. So let me take that out so you can see. Now sometimes the little balls, they may curl up on the side of the wire rather than balling right at the end of the wire. So you may have to make more than you really need in order to get some really perfect ball end rivets. Okay, let me show you how you can finish this off. Like I said, what I can do is I can push them through my piece one at a time. And I'll put 3 of them in here so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, and now I'll just stand them up like so. And you can see that they're all at various heights. Now using my wire cutters, I can come in and I can adjust the heights to try to make them a little bit more the same height so that I get a very consistent size of sphere. That's pretty close. This one's a little tall. Take it down just a little more. There we go. Okay. So these should all produce a sphere on the top surface that is uniform in size. All right, let me just bring out a work surface. I have a piece of ceramic kiln shelf, and I've also got a piece of charcoal. And I'll just transfer this up on top of that for the heating process. Okay. So here we go. Now you could adjust this so that it doesn't move around, but let's just bring one of them down so you can see what happens. So I'll light the torch again. Okay. Now, if you're working with a much hotter torch, say one with an oxygen assist, and you probably want to use a mini torch, you'll be able to produce a result much faster. But you can see how I've brought this down into a sphere just like the others above it, and it's secure because it's already pre-balled on the back. I hope you have fun playing with these decorative ball rivets. You'll find many more tips like this on the onlinejewelryacademy.com. And if you click on the button in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, you'll instantly become a subscriber to the Online Jewelry Academy. Remember, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thanks for watching.